Hey guys, Martin here, bringing a Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video. And so yesterday, when we were talking about AGL Paikuhan, one of the big things that I sort of harped on, but I mean it was for him and the STR one really, even though the AGL one does have a couple more categories, is we were talking about what is actually going to be his best team. He's not on the anniversary, like any of the 10th anniversary LR teams. What will be the best team to run him on, considering all of these really good superclass characters that we have in the meta? And so one thing I did notice, I think someone mentioned it in the Discord, is obviously we have the TEQ gods who, with their EZA from the 10th anniversary, are obviously incredibly good, and they lead Power Beyond, Super Saiyan or Movie Heroes. So Movie Heroes means Paikuhan can be on the team, and this team features a ton of very good superclass characters. But the thing that really kind of clinches this for being such a good team to run Paikuhan on is obviously he's supporting Superclass by 30%, but he also gives other World Warriors or Connected Hope characters the extra 30% if you get the 3 type orbs. And everyone on this team build is on one of those categories except for the gods. So, like, other World Warriors for the AGL Gogeta, and then you've got Beast Gohan, Tech Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks, they are on Connected Hope, and these guys are as well, right? So they're getting the leader skill. Actually, do these guys, are they on Kamehameha? I know Goku does one, yeah. So they're getting the 200% lead from the gods, because obviously Gotenks is on Power Beyond Super Saiyan and Kamehameha as well, and then they can get the 60% support from Paikuhan. So obviously this team can be very good for our boy here. So we can go ahead and do this. And then, there we go, we can make sure we get our orbs for Paikuhan so that we can get our support. And then, yeah, we'll see how we get on. We're doing the Goku Story Red Zone against Universe Survival Saga with the Jiren final boss. I think this is probably... Is this the hardest Red Zone stage in the game? I feel like it is, right? Because of the rotation locking phase into the then Jiren disables dodge and hits incredibly hard. There are certain units that just will not work in this stage, which I think is one of the things that makes it so difficult. I mean, honestly, Paikuhan, with the fact that he, within the first 7 turns, like, he'll have his guard at least, and then after that he's kind of relying on dodge a little bit. Could be a bit awkward against AGL Jiren, but obviously the goal would be that we save the Ghost Usher with Paikuhan for the one turn where he has to go up against Jiren in the dodge disabling phase, right? And at that point then he won't have to take any attacks, we float him off, and then, you know, we win before he comes back around onto the rotation again. So I think this is going to be an absolutely wild team for Paikuhan. He's only getting the 170 lead from the gods, but he's just going to provide so much support to everybody else on the team that, like, everyone's going to look very good. I haven't used the physical Super Saiyan trio for quite a while now as well, so it's good to get to use them. I pulled dupes for them from the anniversary banners, so I only had them at 55% after the worldwide, and now they have the 2 dupes. So they have the bottom right and top left unlocked, they've got the gold equip slot, so they're obviously going to be significantly better. And there you go. I mean, in the early stages of some of these red zones, like against Bergamo here, we can actually seal, so that extra ability from Paikuhan coming in handy there as well. The one thing I should mention as well, shout out to everybody who pointed this out in the video yesterday. I didn't realise, I think it was because I used Dozing Kais and not the AGL Kais, but in the showcase I did yesterday, my Paikuhan was only SA 13 for some reason, so his super attack effect was only to greatly raise attack, and then immense damage and greatly lower attack. So post EZA with the actual full SA level, he does greatly raise defense on his super as well. The unit super thing is still the same, where the only difference is that he gets attacks effective against all types, but he is greatly raising his defense on super, which obviously does make a significant difference. And I think I even mentioned in the showcase yesterday that that was one of the things I thought was lacking with his EZA, right, that he wasn't raising defense on super. And that's because I'd somehow managed to leave mine at SA 13. So shout out to everyone who did point that out in the comments. Not sure how I managed to do that, but there you go. So he is SA 15 now. He does greatly raise defense on super. So on the turns like previously where he gets 2 supers in the turn, then obviously he's getting a pretty nice little defensive buff to go along with that guard for the first 7 turns as well. So God's obviously going to finish off Bergamo here without much chance to get some stacks in, which is unfortunate, but it is what it is. We've got Gotenks. I guess we can, realistically, these guys, I mean, to be fair, we probably could just float them off. They don't need to be in a certain slot. They are obviously providing the support for all allies for 2 turns, which is obviously very, very good. In fact, Gotenks is going to get a huge amount of benefit from that. So let's go ahead and grab those. Get you the full key, grab those for you, and then grab those for you. So, I mean, these guys, funnily enough, they can end up being a decent kind of support unit for this team. Giving that 77% defense for 2 turns is obviously very, very effective. Gotenks, of course, if he gets the defense proc in his early turns, is just going to be tanking pretty much everything. And then with the extra buff from these guys as well, like that's a lot of defense. And then, yeah, just casual 30 mil. My Gotenks only has 1 dupe. So, just casually dropping a 30 million attack stat in slot 1. Gets the guaranteed additional. And, of course, we got 24 keys, so we're getting guaranteed crits. So, it's 18.6 million. But, yeah, so imagine this rotation, but then you've got Paikuhan in slot 3. So, instead of getting the big chunk of defense, they're getting, well, it's almost the same amount. Instead of getting 77% defense, Gotenks getting 60% attack and defense. And then, yeah, we're going to start seeing some pretty wild numbers out of some of these guys. Especially then when we get the combo of, like, the AGL Gogeta transformation and then active skill turn. With Paikuhan on the turn as well. Like, imagine what kind of damage we're going to be doing on that turn. So, this seems like a very good team. Obviously, with the meta, the way it is post-anniversary, the 220 teams are obviously in the top spots. Like, they feel like the strongest teams. But this team, for a 200% team, is obviously very, very strong with the tech gods. Doesn't have to be this exact build. You could easily throw on somebody else instead of the physical trio. Unfortunately, the tech Vegito isn't on the team, right? Because obviously the AGL Gogeta is on the team because he's a movie hero, because neither of them are Power Beyond Super Saiyan, which is unfortunate considering that both of them Goku goes Super Saiyan 3 in his super attack. So they should be on there and on the Super Saiyan 3 category technically, but you know, it is what it is. But yeah, you could make some changes to the team. Beast obviously is on the team to be one of the slot 1 units. The gods can obviously handle that on turn 1, and then we start getting the build up for them. We have the active skill available for Paikuhan now, but obviously we don't want to use it just yet. But yeah, we can go ahead and grab a big chunk of orbs for the gods. We can go ahead and get our orbs for Paikuhan. Everybody getting the support now, including the Beast Gohan. 60% extra attack and defense for him. So, obviously my Beast Gohan has 1 dupe. Not the craziest link set with the gods, so it's not like he's the, you know, this is the most optimal turn for him, but still very, very good. I mean, Beast Gohan has never been a character that just comes straight out and is dropping like 30 million attack stat supers, right? But that extra bit of support for him goes a long way, especially considering how good he is defensively. Like, having an extra 60% defense on top of everything else that he does, especially early on with his extra damage reduction and everything, like, he's just going to be a very solid, tanky boy over here in slot 1. I mean, we're going to see Kefla's going to super here. Let me get her stats up, actually, because I imagine we take double-digit damage from this. Yep. So, where are we? Goku Story Red Zone, and then Universe Survival Saga. So yeah, Tech Super Saiyan 2 Kefla hits for 2.3 million. So not too bad. It's only when we get to we got the Int Jiren next that hits for like 6 mil. So that's where things start to get a little bit more crazy. But we obviously have the ability to use our active skills and stuff at that point. So we're going to build up until we get to that point and see how we get on. But the tech gods obviously going to be able to do some solid work here, build up their defense. Shame they didn't get to do too much on their first turn. And then, of course, we had like double gods rotation, which is never ideal when you've got like your leaders, especially if they're stackers, and then they both end up being on the same rotation. Because the one that we had to float off obviously hasn't gotten to attack a single time up until now. So yeah, Paikuhan still looking good here. 14 mil. I mean, again, for a unit that's basically just here for supporting the team, right, against a tech enemy, obviously we're not critting, so we're not exactly doing damage. But with the guard, still tanking all the normals for double-digit damage. Kefla raises attack. Oh, she raises attack and defense, so actually her super does more like nearly 3 million, actually. And then post-super, her normals are doing over 1 million. So Paikuhan just casually tanking those for double-digit damage, which is what we like to see. Kefla has a Ki Blast super, so we don't need to worry about Gotenks in slot 1. If she supers him, he will, of course, negate it. Well, he doesn't actually negate it. He still takes damage, but because he has, like, 99% damage reduction against Ki Blast super attack, so he won't take any damage, and then, obviously, he gets the counter attack as well. But yeah, this team's really, really good. I would say the only downside of this team in comparison to the, like, 220 leads that we now have in the meta, and, like, running the 10th anniversary LRs as the leaders and stuff like that, is the fact that the HP overall is a lot less. Because, of course, the new leader skill meta is or format, I should say, is like 200% to HP, 170 to stats, and then the extra, like, is plus 50. So the double leads are giving 250% HP each, whereas obviously the 200% leaders were only getting 200%, and some of them only getting the 170. So obviously the overall HP of the team is going to be a lot lower. I think we're at, what? We're at 99% and we're at 680 odd. So we're coming in at under 700k HP when we're on full health. And with how hard some of these bosses are hitting now, like that extra HP can be the difference between surviving in some of these situations when you're getting to the final stage bosses and getting hit for big damage. So like here, the tech gods, yeah, 513k, still have that issue with the while they're building up, because they have guard for the first few turns, they have that extra damage reduction on the first turn, which makes them obviously able to tank hits incredibly well, whereas here we are going to suffer a little bit from being on the low HP here, although we probably can go ahead and throw out the Miracle Punch Goku standby, I think, on the next turn. Save the active skill with Gohan for when we get to Jiren. So we go ahead and do this. And then grab all of those. Get a bit of a heal back there. Grab those. And then grab those for you. Yeah, the gods can build up defense quickly enough that just 3 tech orbs gave us a huge amount of HP back there. So the only downside, of course, being that Beast not getting to attack first means he's not going to do a lot of damage. But honestly, that's probably better, because then it gives the gods, like, the more opportunity to attack. Because the more HP Kefla has left, the more additionals these guys can potentially get before they end up killing her. Ideally, they just get multiple supers here and finish her off, and then we go into the next phase ready to go. But I think she's got a bit too much HP for that. She's got 160 million HP, and then we get on to Int Jiren. He has 350 million, so pretty crazy. And of course he has rotation locking, which can be super awkward. My most hated mechanic in the game, as you all well know at this point. But yeah, good few supers off here with the gods. We get a dodge. Don't let them get hit with a super now after dodging that a normal. That's always the most annoying thing. Alright, so we know we're safe here now as well with these guys, because of course in fact, let's keep you on rotation because we did float off the gods. We know that if she super attacks Gotenks in slot 1, then obviously he's just going to eat it because of the extra damage reduction he gets against Ki Blast super attacks. So yeah, we can go ahead and do that. We do only get the 1 turn to charge up the Miracle Punch though, which is a shame. So we will have to fire that off against Jiren in this next turn. But there's no way we don't kill Kefla. So yeah, Gotenks obviously getting the big buff of support from Paikuhan, but very few links active on this turn. So go ahead and do that. Finish her off. And then we get onto Int Jiren. So what is the rotation locking going to be like here? Is it going to be awkward? Goku in the middle is actually not too bad. So I guess that means we could... how do we want to do this? I mean, do we just fuse into Gogeta now? Probably not. We probably need to save the Gogeta fusion. How well are you going to tank AoE here, though? That's the problem. Jiren attacks for like 1.4 million normals, which is kind of brutal. You do have guard, but that's all. I mean, I suppose we could, if we really wanted to, use the Ghost Usher with this Goku, but I mean, that would be a good way for him to get some extra defense here as well. But then it just means no Gogeta fusion, which it always feels disappointing, right, to not be able to do. But maybe strategy-wise, that is the best thing to do here, because we can always save the Ghost Usher for the other, like the Paikuhan Ghost Usher for the final phase. We've still got the Beast active skill if we save this as well. Maybe we should just do that. You know what? Why not? It's just one of those things, like, it feels so disappointing to not get Gogeta or Vegito out because they're so good. And then, of course, this guy, when he next comes back, is going to have a 100% chance to dodge. So we can go ahead and grab some more orbs for you, just to charge this up a little bit more. Then we'll go ahead and fire this off. This won't do crazy damage, but a little bit of extra damage for free. It's always nice. 24 mil. Like, look how little of that his health that actually is. Because he has 350 million HP. But then, yeah, we can change all of the orbs here. They're locked in the middle, so we've got really no choice but to do that. And then we'll grab those for you. Because then this allows this Goku to get a bit of defensive stacking here at the end without having to worry about taking hits. It's the rotation locking is the issue, right? Like, we could have played out the rotation a different way if the physical boys weren't locked in the middle. But, yeah, because, I mean, we could have put Gogeta in slot 1, transformed him, and then obviously he would be able to slot 1 tank, especially with Rainbow Orbs. But I thought it would just be interesting to do it this way, especially with the extra Ghost Usher on the team. And now the fact that Goku has a 100% chance to dodge the next time he comes back. Although, of course, funnily enough, if he came back against the AGL Jiren, he then can't dodge. But because this guy has so much HP, it's unlikely that we'll be seeing that AGL Goku not come back until the final phase, right? So he'll come back against this AGL Jiren. We can put him in slot 1. Sorry, Int Jiren. We can put him in slot 1. He's going to dodge. He's obviously going to get a little bit of defensive build-up on this turn by getting his supers as the Goku version of the card. So get a few defensive stacks in here. Because obviously this guy can stack up enough because he gets 200% defense when he gets hit. And if he's in slot 1, he has guard and a really high chance to dodge. So, like, when he's even if he takes a hit, he has the potential to tank very, very well. But who's getting locked where? The gods, really? Bruh. Getting super unlucky with our locking and stuff here, though, aren't we? So, I mean, I guess we'll just have to transform them here and hope for the dodging to come in clutch. But let's see. So, get a bunch of rainbow orbs here. We can grab those. So we got 2.5 million. Then Gotenks can grab all of these. And then Paikuhan. We can still dodge, so we don't need the Ghost Usher here. Grab those for you. That gives Gotenks the extra 60% support. There's the dodge. That's what we like to see. And then what are we looking at here? We've got a 33 million attack stat. Dokkan attack here from the Tech Gods. Obviously, remember the turn we transform the Tech Gods as well, they have the 77% damage reduction again. So even if they hadn't dodged that super, they would be fine. Because 77% damage reduction backed up by 2.5 million defense with guard. Like, they're not really taking damage from anything, right? Like, even a 10 million damage super with 77% damage reduction, that means it's doing 2.3 million and they have 2.5 million defense. So they're not taking damage on this turn, but they dodged the super anyway. And then we get our attacks off here. 27 mil on the additional. Because obviously the longer we stack the gods, the better they will be when they transform. But this is definitely a good time to transform them here and avoid the fallout of the Jiren slot 1 super. Because TEQ Gotenks, realistically, like, if he's getting supered in slot 1 here and not getting his proc, he's instantly dead. I mean, even if he gets it, it's like a 6 million damage super with tight disadvantage. So I'm not actually sure if he would even tank it for double-digit damage, like even with that extra 777% defense. I know that's a lot of defense, but he's still got some damage reduction. I think maybe he would, but the problem with Gotenks as well is that he gets that big defensive buff from a super attack if that part of his passive procs. But if against normals from some of the tougher bosses, like if you put him in slot 1 and the boss is attacking 3 times and the first like 2 attacks aren't the super, he can end up taking big damage from those normal attacks, which is annoying. But yeah, Paikuhan getting the double super here. This guy can, I forgot, this Jiren can be attack lowered. So Paikuhan coming in clutch with the triple super with the greatly lowering attack. So we'd love to see that. And then there's the dodge. There we go. I want to see him take a hit and see how much he takes, but no, he's just going to dodge everything. Let's go. Alright, what a beast. So that works out quite nicely. And then speaking of beast, I guess we will just have to, well, we could get another stat. Yeah, these guys have got really low defense, but I want to save the I do want to save the active skill. What are his normals doing? 1.4 million. Because if we target ability with beast, then we don't have to transform the gods. And this would be a helpful turn to not have to transform them because their defense is quite low compared to where we would like them to be. So yeah, let's do that. Active skill with you. Obviously the AoE would still hit the gods here, but they should be okay. Do that and then do that. Okay, so Beast is going to get supered. Remember, this is like a 6 million damage super attack. Does 91 damage, let's go. And then 10 million from the gods. I mean, post-super, they should be okay, I think, to tank the normal here. Because they should still have their... Actually, do they still have their guard? Maybe they don't, actually, at this point. Yeah, that could be awkward. Because he's supered as well, so his normals do like 2 million damage. But it doesn't matter, because all the attacks are on Beast, of course. That's why we used the active skill, so... There's me panicking when I'd already done the smart play at the start of the turn to avoid these guys getting killed. But yeah, this would be a scenario where because they haven't got guard like anymore, but it's now run out, we would need to transform them. But because they were the one that got floated off right near the start, they haven't gotten anywhere near as many stacks as anyone else. Although yeah, it's the AoE I guess that is the more scary. The AoE damage does go down after the first enemy hit. So I guess that's the kind of saving point for them here. Will the trio be able to finish him off though? That's the question. Probably not. Oh, and of course, I say that, we're talking about his attack stats and how hard his normals are hitting and how hard the AoE's hitting. Of course, I am overlooking the fact that he has been attack lowered like multiple times. So that would have made a significant difference as well. Don't get me wrong, that super in slot 1, that would have been an absolute death sentence for the gods. Like, if they hadn't gotten the dodge just randomly from their hidden potential. Otherwise, like, if we didn't have the active skill for Beast on this turn or anything like that, we would have just had to have gone with the transformation for the gods and hope they dodge, because their defense is going to be a lot lower than we would like it to be at this point in the event, I guess. But... it is what it is. Oh, hey, look. Goku's back and he's locked in slot 1. And guess who has a 100% chance to dodge on this turn? So that's pretty good. So let's do that. And then do that. And then do that. Should have tried to get 7 orbs for the blues, but I think we probably just kill him here. Because, yeah, Goku has a 100% chance to dodge on this turn. So he's now going to be able to get a bit more defensive stacking going on. Yeah, hopefully that one extra orb that we didn't get isn't going to make a huge difference for the gods here. If we end up like 1 super away from killing Jiren, I'm going to be very annoyed. But Goku with the unrelenting kicks, stacking that defense. And then, of course, dodging everything here with the 100% chance to dodge. How much is Gotenks going to take from the AoE? Nice, double digits. Because, yeah, we've attack lowered this guy enough now that we don't need to worry too much. The super got dodged because of Goku. So we don't really need to worry about anyone else for the rest of the rotation. I'm pretty sure, like I say, even if they're not getting crits or whatever, even if the gods didn't kill Jiren here, Gotenks would be fine because we got enough ki for him to be getting guaranteed crits anyway. So, yeah, God's not quite able to get the job done. And typically, as I say, if we'd got 7 orbs for them, so they'd have then got another attack, which would have most likely been a crit as well, then it would have been GG. Not that it really matters too much. I mean, it's not like Gotenks stacks or anything, so in the long run, we don't get any extra benefit out of it being Gotenks killing him here instead of the gods, but, you know, it is what it is. Alright, so the final phase. So this is where it gets tricky. Oh, now, interestingly enough, like, we could just Ghost Usher here. But do we save it for... Because he has 550 million HP. Paikuhan can use his active skill as long as the enemy is above 50% HP. But the problem is, if we float Paikuhan off here, like, by the time he comes back around, is Jiren still going to have 50% of his HP? I feel like he probably is, but it's hard to know for sure. But let's go ahead and do the Ghost Usher just so it's we've done it, because of course the best thing about the Ghost Usher as well, in some situations, sometimes it doesn't make a huge difference, but one of the best things about the Ghost Usher is next turn we get the attacks in the exact same placement again, which means we have a turn where there are no attacks in slot 3. So that works out quite nicely for our rotation. So we can go ahead and do this. It means we don't have to transform the gods again here. So we get another turn where we get to get some extra stacks with them for free without having to worry about them getting killed, which is obviously very, very good. So they can build up a little bit more before we do go ahead and get the transformation. Obviously we're not doing like crazy damage here, but yeah, this Jiren can't be attack lowered. This Jiren crits when he supers, greatly raises attack and does 2.2 million. So he does 3.3 million damage, but he also crits. So we're still looking at like 4 to 5 million damage super attack from this guy, and you can't dodge. So definitely this is why this is one of the toughest phases, right? Not only does he have a lot of HP, but he's an absolute weapon. Like, his super attack does so much damage and you can't dodge it. Like, pretty crazy. So we'll see how we go. Paikuhan, of course, coming in clutch with the Ghost Usher, getting a couple of supers off here as well, do a nice little bit of extra damage, and then we get the attacks back. Now, the gods not having the dodge, I think, is probably where this could be super awkward. If you get 200% defense on super, that puts you to 2.1 million. But that's not enough, even with like guard, to tank the super from Jiren. Man, that is kind of scary. Also, these guys, like, post-super, are they going to be okay? I mean, when they receive the super, they get extra damage reduction. Do we do this? Go for, like, attack on these guys. Oh, actually, what is it? You give support. Yeah, it's attack support. It's only successors or fusion, actually, so it doesn't even matter for this rotation. Well, actually, no, they're on fusion, because they were at, what, 2.5. If we switch you over to Vegeta, you give defensive support, so they go up to, yeah, nearly 2.8. which is much better. So let's go ahead and do that. And then grab all of those. I mean, if Jiren saves the super for the physical trio, we could be dead. But we'll see how we get on here. Okay, he's just going to super them straight away. Bear in mind, they've got guard. They've got 3 million, almost 3 million defense here. 304k, okay. That's not terrible, all things considered. And now we can do some solid damage. We're still over half HP, right? So we're still in a fairly decent spot. We definitely want the physical trio to actually get some additional supers here to build up that defense a little bit, because there's quite a lot of normal attacks coming their way in the middle. So if they get hit by this first attack after they've gotten their attacks off, if Jiren hits them for their first hit and they're taking like 100k, then we might not survive the turn. But obviously the god's going to be able to put in some work here and do some good damage. I mean, like I said, this is a very tough event. This is still, I think, the hardest red zone stage. There are teams that, even if they are good, are going to struggle against this stage with no items. Like, the fact that he just hits so hard and can't be dodged means that you are, like, in certain situations, even with the units on this team being as good as they can be, in certain situations, if the super is in the wrong slot, like, you just die, right? Even with some of the tougher, like, and better units in the game. But here's what it is. And of course they get a bunch of additional normals. Typical. But we take double digit damage, so we're all good. That's what we like to see. Maybe I was underestimating them a little bit there. But 25 million from AGL Vegeta. Obviously we're not going to be able to see Gogeta come out, which would have been great for this turn. But imagine this turn with like Gogeta use the active skill, put Gogeta in slot 1. Everyone gets that massive buff. Gogeta gets all the rainbow orbs, tanks everything in slot 1, and then the gods go absolutely crazy. Like, would definitely be very good. But remember, we're still benefiting off of the fact we used that Ghost Usher previously. So no attacks in slot 3 means we don't have to worry about this guy at all. So we can have him in the Vegeta portion of the card and do a bunch of extra damage. So all in all, we're looking very, very good. We can finally go ahead and transform these guys, which is now going to give us, of course, an extra boost with the fact that we now have our slot 1 unit. They've got 2.1 million defense, but they also have the damage reduction for the turn. So we'll go ahead and do this. We might as well active skill with Gotenks here as well. Get some extra damage in there. And then grab this for you. And grab the STR key for Beast. We'll float Beast Gohan off at this point, because this late into the event, Beast Gohan is probably going to be a bit of a liability. He should be okay against normals, but he's definitely not going to be as good at tanking like a big super here now from Jiren. But I mean, hey, we're doing pretty well. I was thinking at one point we might not even get this far through the event, and if we died sort of like 5 minutes ago or something, I probably would have been quite happy to stop there. But I think you can see, like, the team works very, very well. Sometimes you have to make some choices on the fly and like change up the rotations and stuff like that depending on who's on, and starting rotations can be a big thing. I said right at the very beginning we didn't really have a great starting setup, with like turn 2 being double tech gods, like not really ideal. You want to get one of them start building up straight away, not have to float them off, so then it takes multiple turns for them to come back, so it's longer until they start getting more stacks again. So it definitely wasn't the ideal start to the run, but we've definitely pulled it back and done a pretty good effort here so far. So, and considering how much HP Jiren has, we've gotten down well below half health now. So problem is, if he super attacks Gotenks here, I think we need the proc to live. He didn't super, are you serious? Yeah, if he supers Beast, I don't know how well Beast Gohan will tank this. He might not super, but okay, he didn't. Interesting. Alright, well there we go. So now the big question is Paikuhan going to be able to live in the final slot here? I mean, we'll go ahead and use our active skill. Should do some decent damage. Yep. And then we're going to get our attacks off with these guys. I'm going to get the attacks off with these guys. And then Paikuhan gets his support. So yeah, here we go. How will we do here? Oh, we're supering before they've attacked. It's not ideal. How much do they take from this? Is it going to be the... Yeah, 337, okay. Yeah, it's not bad, because obviously we know they took roughly, it was like 308 last time, with a slightly different rotation. So, as long as we know we can survive that, I think we could be good here. Now, the only downside, as I said right at the beginning, is Paikuhan not giving any support to the gods. That would be really nice. Well, I say any. He's giving them 30%. He's not giving them the extra 30%, which would be a nice little bonus, but they're still putting in the damage here. And then, obviously, the physical trio getting the buff as well is really, really good. I think, unless we just get the multiple additional normals turn again, the trio might be able to finish off Jiren here, because it's going to be very close, yeah. So there you go, and they're at 19 mil. So that should be GG. So Paikuhan played his role perfectly on this team. We got the active skill, the Ghost Usher, which helped us out massively. And then on this final turn, which is really the only turn where he could have maybe been a little bit of a liability in the final slot with the inability to dodge, he didn't even have to get hit. He didn't even get to attack. Then we just won. So there you go. I think the fact that this team managed to get through this event, maybe we got lucky in some spots, maybe it was a little bit dicey in some spots, but we got the no item run against Jiren with this team, with a 200% lead, with Paikuhan only under the 170, but providing a ton of support. So yeah, one absolutely fantastic team build for Paikuhan. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section of AGL Paikuhan and his EZA. What has been your favourite team to run him on? Let me know down below. So that is going to be it for the video, guys. This has been the Masked Ningen. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Check out the links down below, and I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.